Hey guys, welcome to Moms That Conquer. We are here today with my beautiful, lovely friend Ange.
Hey y'all.
First of all, welcome to all of our new followers. As I always say, thank you to those that have been following us since day one. They're amazing, right?
We love you, of course.
We do. Moms That Conquer would not be Moms That Conquer if we did not have you guys following us.
And support each other.
Exactly, right? So, for those that are new to our platform, this is open conversations, right? We are here to be vulnerable with each other so that way we can talk about topics of life and motherhood, right? And fatherhood. Eventually, we'll have some dads up in here. But for now, we'll start with Ange. And our topic for today is being a stepmother, right?
Fun stuff, fun stuff.
Fun stuff. Okay. We're going to talk to Ange about her role as a stepmother. She is a mother, but she is also a stepmother. So we're going to get deep into that conversation, that topic. But first, I'm going to let Ange start with telling us a little bit about her stepmother
Situation.
role. I don't want to quote it, but her stepmother role, her situation. So that way you guys can understand why we are specifically talking about this topic, right? Because as moms, we can be moms, but step parents are also super important when they're playing a huge factor in raising a child and their growth, right?
Nice to hear that.
Yes, it is. You got to appreciate the step parents too, right? Well, any person that portrays a a parent like role in somebody else's in a child's life, because
It's a
parents
lot
are
of
not
work.
always there. It is a lot of work. So tell us, Ange, you have your daughter.
We've got my little
Lils.
Lily.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got beautiful 3 boys sandwiched in between an even older, abstractly stepdaughter. Love you, Gabriella. To the moon and back.
Mm-hmm.
So, been with my man a very long time. He found himself in that stepdad role that similar to mine, but met her very, very little. He raised her, so I got her with the bundle, and we have the boys that live with us, and they're 15, 17, and about to be 19 now. Gosh,
Wow.
big boys. Nice big gap
And
we got
Lily's
there. And Lily's about to be 2.
two, so five, right? So you have four
Four. Oh
stepchildren.
my gosh, it is 5.
It is
Woo!
five. She
Woof!
beat me. She beat me.
Someone
Okay.
beat you.
She beat me. So four stepchildren, right? The three boys, your stepdaughter, and then you have Lily that you have with your man,
Yeah.
y'all daughter
Little
together. Little
happy
Liz.
super modern family Brady Bunch hybrid
Right,
situation.
right. No judging, right? But I do want to say before we even get started, good job, right?
Thanks.
I'm so proud of you. It's not easy being a parent, but to be a step parent to someone else's children,
Yeah.
that can be like an emotional roller coaster day over day.
It's a lot of pressure because you never know, especially when you start with those before your own. You're like, okay, like I in theory know, like parenting includes number one, survival. Like you're all living and I fed you and like you've clothes on your back, you're good. But then there's like, the figuring out what am I supposed to do and like
what I'm
what's
not supposed to do,
not
right?
supposed to be. Like, do I do the whole shebang? Do I back off in certain situations? Like, and it gets a little muddy because when they live with you and they're under your roof, you're with them 24/7. It's like it's a lot, and you're like, okay, like
You don't know what to say,
mom
what
or
not to say.
stepmom, like
Right.
yeah, and
Friend or stepmom, because you also want to play that friend role,
right
too, so that they can confide in you.
you got to build the trust.
Right.
You have to, you always want to make sure that you're doing the right thing for all the situations. And yeah, it's definitely not the easiest
It's not
to
I'm
figure
sure.
out, but I'm lucky that their father is pretty good with knowing his kids for the most part, even though there's definitely things that with the building the trust and whatnot, I've definitely been like, you're wrong about that one, and I'm going to go with my gut. But if I don't know what to do, I kind of look to him for
And the
the
boys being
guidance.
teenagers and your stepdaughter being already an adult that's difficult. That could be difficult.
It's difficult. I didn't realize how difficult it was until now we have the little one thrown into the mix, and then you're just woo.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. We got terrible twos and terrible teens. All this.
Yeah, no. Not interested. Not interested.
It
Okay.
is not for the weak.
It's not for the weak. Parenting is not for the weak. Life is not for the weak. But
No.
here we are. We getting through it, right? So let me ask you a question. We're gonna shake it off, right? Because it could be very like nerve wracking to be on this platform, guys. I know we seem cool, but it could be a little like so.
Yeah.
We're gonna breathe, right? So first question, right? for our Ange and for our audience, for anybody that is a step parent out there, right? And I saw this on the internet, and I had to really think about this question because I had to ask myself this question.
You're trying to trick me already? We just
I'm
started.
not. Okay, so can a woman, as a stepmother, genuinely love another woman's child as her own?
I say yes.
Why?
It's all about connections. The same thing, when you meet a friend, like we all have like our besties and our sisters from another mister or whatever, It's the same thing with the kids, especially like when they're good and they're accepting of you, it's easy to build that bond. I'm sure like I've been very blessed on my journey where, I have a really good relationship with the children and like, we communicate and we've been able to have fun and smiles and like happy times and bonding. And I know like not every step parent gets the pleasure of having that experience, and sometimes you have to work a little harder and there's more obstacles to overcome, and that could definitely get in the way of that feeling towards the child. But there's just something about watching like a being grow and like those changes, from like the little kid into like the preteen and the teenager, and like I don't know, it's like the little stuff. I feel like sitting and doing homework, and there's a lot of that love is built, I feel like, in the activities you're doing with each other.
But that's like when you have a child that, sorry to cut you off, that is not even your stepchild, right? You have this baby. And you're like, what do I do with this thing?
And like lots of people have, like their nephews and their nieces, and they're, that's like, that's my baby. And, like
Auntie Kimmy, girl.
I was going to say,
Auntie
like
Kimmy be coming through.
Jacob and Jonathan have a lot of those.
Yeah,
lucky
Jacob
ducks.
and Jonathan does have a lot of aunties that love them.
Yeah.
I also feel, and that's a good point that you brought up, connection, right? Because not only the connection with the children, and I'm not a step parent, so I'm just speaking from my overall feelings, but the connection with your partner, right? Because to me, if you really are connected to your partner and love them genuinely, to see them as a parent and love that child, it would make me want to love that child too. Like, damn, you're such a good
absorb
daddy.
the
like,
love.
Okay, I'll love your kid too. Yeah. So I think you have to have an overall connection with your partner and with the kids, and how your partner loves the kids.
That's a very.
And you have to have a strong mindset. Yeah, strong mindset, because to love another woman's child, where that other woman won't feel some type of way, you got to be cautious and careful how you love.
Yeah, that's definitely, I would say, that's the tough part.
It is.
Especially when you just want to love.
Yeah, and you're super loving. She's a loving soul. She's like me. I'm still loving too sometimes. No, let me stop. Okay. Do you feel that you have to love the kids harder, being that they are not biologically yours?
I definitely have had, and it's funny, I won't say which one, but I just had to have this talk with one of them recently.
Which one of you boys? Because I know y'all watching.
And I had to explain, because he's straight, they're grown now, and he said, I don't understand, like, why you do all like the things you do, because for anybody watching who knows me, y'all see what I do about birthdays. I don't play. So, and to them it's strange because, like nobody did that. And my family, and we're all very over the top, like party planners and like balloons and like,
let's do it all. Birthdays are important. Birthdays are important. Woo, woo, woo. Okay.
So, and he didn't understand because he's never, seen anyone in real life, experience the stuff. And he's like, like, is it real? Like straight up, is it real? And I said, I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, dude, I wish somebody would do this for me. Like, this is your birthday. It's the biggest, day of the year. This is like the all about you. It's supposed to be celebrated. It's supposed to be fun, go big or go home. And, and I said, I'm like, I know that you guys, haven't had that. And obviously this is just like the one instance. Your situation is a little more like what you're asking is more broad. But, it's like it all kind of falls under the umbrella of like, I want to make sure that I'm giving you that full thing. So, because, on the reverse, it's hard for the kids sometimes to be like, oh, well, why would you love me? You're not, I'm not yours. And you definitely feel, I don't know if everybody does, but for me, I feel like a huge sense of like, I want to really show you
Yeah.
because I could tell you all day, but actions speak louder. And,
Right.
you do like, in a lot of cases, I think most people in my situation would agree, you do feel like you need to go a little above and beyond to like really let it set in, like, yes, I love you, like so
Yeah.
much. Know it, embrace it, accept it.
I feel too that you have to love them harder to avoid a sense of jealousy coming from those kids, right? Because that's their dad, right? And they have a mom.
Mm-hmm.
They know that, right? And you want to make sure that you love them unconditionally and harder so that way they understand you're not here to take anybody's place.
Right.
I'm here to be partners with your dad to make sure that you guys have a stable household and your mindset is good when you're focusing on growing up as an adult.
Yep. That was also part of this same conversation, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm doing this because I love you and I'm loving you harder than anybody else.
and I'm here to help your dad and support your dad and
Exactly.
be there to,
Back to connection. You got to have that connection with your
Yeah.
partner. Yeah. Maybe I should be a stepmother. I don't know. I give some pretty good advice. No, let me stop. So ask yourself, guys, for those of you guys that are step parents, do you feel that you have to love your stepchildren harder, being that they are not biologically yours? And what kind of emotions do you suppress with doing that? Right? Do you feel like it impacts your emotions in any way? If so, comment below, right? Moving on. What boundaries do you put in place for yourself so you don't feel like you overstep anyone?
That, I would say, is my worst category because I am terrible with boundaries of any kind for myself and in my position. Like, I don't know, in the beginning I had a lot more boundaries, like easing into it, and I would be like, okay, like, don't post a picture, like I wasn't with the kids. Like, I tried to be like, okay, like I'm here and like I'm around and I'm involved, but I didn't want to do too much. And then, like, kind of as they start to feel like your own and you love them like your own, that all kind of went out the window. And I'm just,
So you
like,
don't have boundaries right now?
I have like none. It's like they want anything, okay, I do it within reason, obviously. But like, there's never like a, okay, like that's not like my place. Go ask your father. Like, go
Yeah.
check with your mom. Like, it's
So we're gonna go a little backwards here, right? Because I just posted a video on Moms That Conquer that talks about boundary setting and mental health and mental toughness, right? So she don't got boundaries. Do you guys got boundaries?
no
Right?
boundaries.
I know you don't have boundaries. Because I know.
You're one of the people who yells at me about
I
it.
yell at her all the time. But
I'm
this is the advice that I'm gonna tell you. And I said this in my video. You saying no is not going to change you being a kind person or a kind stepmother. You are still a kind person, but you are allowed to say, no, thank you. I'm not interested in doing that for you.
I mean,
So
that
you need
pretty
to
much,
try it.
that
Like,
switch gets turned on at like 10 p.m. or 8 if it's Tuesdays.
no, don't give it a time
Like,
limit. Don't
leave me
give it a
alone.
time limit. Guys, do you think she should give it a time limit? Everybody has to have boundaries. Like, no, let them be, sorry, boys. Sorry, Gab. Let them be upset at you for a little while. It's okay. They'll get over it, right? Kids get upset. My kids get upset at me all the time, and I don't care. Like, you got to put boundaries in every situation. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're overstepping anything. This is for your own, like, woosah.
Peace of mind.
I'm sorry, Russ. She's just gonna have to say no sometimes. All right. So that's your exercise. I'm giving her homework, and we never do this on a Moms That Conquer video. And got homework, and all of you got homework, right? If you feel like you have no boundaries put in place as being a parent or a step parent, put your boundaries in place.
Learn it.
Now is the time. Don't do it 10 p.m., 8 p.m. We're gonna set the boundaries now. Okay. Yes.
We'll see.
I know
I'm usually really good at homework.
I know it's difficult. Yeah, you're very good at homework. I know it's difficult, but and this is not going to change who you are as a stepmother. But you have to say no sometimes, and that's okay. They're gonna be upset at you, and who cares? Like,
to be fair, they're pretty grown now. There's not a whole lot they ask for that's you know, not standard like parental have to do. So I'll give them the credit in that department for maybe my not necessarily needing so many boundaries these days. Because
do you feel that you don't set boundaries because it's like a likable thing and you don't want to overstep, so you're just like, okay, yeah.
If I'm being real, it's, I mean, that's a part of it.
You don't want them
And
to be mad at you, and
yeah, like never wanting to say no and have them take that as like a,
yeah.
you don't love me, or yeah, I don't, yeah.
You gotta get some toughness in you, girl. And we're gonna instill some toughness.
Now they
in
need
you.
to not be watching this video, so they're like, "Oh, really? Ange, is that how you feel? Okay, I'm gonna ask
Is that how you feel?
this,
So
this.
yeah, can I have like $1 million? Thanks. Okay.
Let me keep your car for the
We're
summer."
gonna work. We're gonna work on boundaries. We all are, right? That's why we talked about it on the last video. We all need to work on boundaries. It's so difficult to just say no, but and set boundaries. But it's okay. I gotta tell myself that too, because
I think part of it is woman nature. We just
I know.
like we're just like supportive by nature
I
and
know.
nurturing, and you know.
I know. But let me tell you, with Jay, I'm quick to be like, nah, my man. Like,
Yeah, but there's something about the guys, like they're not the same.
But everybody else, I'm just like, okay, fine. You know, like, because I feel bad. I do feel bad. I love all these juicy questions,
Oh,
so that's
God.
why I keep rubbing my
Here we
hands
go with
together.
this
And I
one.
know she's like, she was nervous, so we're
I
gonna
know, I'm
like,
sweating. She's
we're
gonna get me in
shaking her
trouble.
out, right? What is your opinion, guys? Too, right? Because I want some comments on this video.
Oh, geez.
What is your opinion on kids calling their stepmom mom? Or mommy or mama, whatever you want to call it.
I know a lot of people who do both. So, like, for me, I feel like I met the kids a little late. Like, was 8 years old when I met him. So even though he was like little and snuggly and like whatever, like, I don't know, Russell and I had that conversation, and like our whole thing was like, I'm gonna be Ange.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know, like, when we moved into our house, like, you know, he would ask a lot. Like, he, you know, he's like, so does this like make you our stepmom now? Because, you know, we're not married, but it's, you know, it's confusing because, you know, you live with, you do like all those things that, you know, like the stepmom and the mom like do. But yeah, I guess that was like a boundary there where like he didn't know if he was supposed to like call me that or like not, or like what's going on. And I always said, I'm like, you call me like whatever you know you want to call me. Like, I'm Ange. I mean, like, when people, you know, ask me about you guys, I've told all the kids, I'm like, and I'm like, I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable, but like, if people ask me or refer to you as my stepkids, I'm like, yeah, those are my stepkids. Because to me, like, I look at it
those like, are my kids.
Like, I feel like almost like if someone says it and you like correct it, or like, you know, or if I say that, like, oh no, like, you know, that's my man's kids, you're like disowning them.
Right.
In a way. So I'm like, if a kid is comfortable enough with the stepmom, like, and they've been around for that much of their life and they want to call a mom, you know, I'm like, that's cool. Because I feel like, especially these days, we live in a like society where, you know, people have two moms, people have two dads. So like, you could have two moms because one of them is your step and one of them was your birth, you know. So
you don't. So it wouldn't bother you if they come out and say call you mom or something.
They've done a couple Freudian slips over the years, and I've been like, what did you just say?
But you don't feel that it will give you a little tug at your heart, I'm sure. But
of course, yeah, you get that little like, I'm like, they don't even realize it. They just call me mom, and I'm like, good. And that's kind of like your little, like, you don't make a thing about it, but it's like, you do love me. We're good. Okay.
you just justify the fact that I knew you love me. I think that if I was in any type of situation like that, and my kids were surrounded by another woman, if she's good to them,
you're good.
I'm straight. My kids are what's important, right? Their happiness is important. So if they're around somebody that is good to them, and they love that person enough to feel like she's my mom too, I think I'm okay with that. But I don't know, because I'm not in that situation.
I know
my mindset may change because I also feel like it may cause a sense of jealousy. Like, I'm your mama. Like, it's only one me. But again,
I get that. I feel like that.
Yes, I'm your mom. Like, it's only one. It is only one me. Ain't nobody could be a mama like me. Like, I love those boys crazy. But let me revert myself, guys. I think I would be okay if my kids are extremely happy and comfortable.
I think at the end of the day, like, in my mind too, like, I've had that conversation with Russell about, like, you know, because I saw something on TV that where like a couple was having the conversation like before they were trying to have a baby, but they weren't pregnant yet, and they started talking about, while we're happy and like in love and in this good place, let's talk about the what if, like, this doesn't work out. Like, how are we going to handle this so we can like write it down, get it out of our system now. And then, when stuff hits the fan, if it does,
this was our plan.
we can be like, remember when you were calm and happy and all we cared about was the well-being of the child. This is what we agreed on.
Yeah, because the children's it's about the children. Sometimes you have to put your emotions aside and really just care about the kids and think like, what is going to make my kids happy.
And I wouldn't want my daughter to like, obviously, and it's all in theory, but I think like our conversation was we wouldn't want her to grow up and given, since we already did the bring the families together situation, we saw it was like, we have the advantage, I guess, or disadvantage, and whatever you want to call it. But, we had the advantage of kind of getting the learning curve and see like the do's and don'ts and the mistakes that maybe were made, first time around. So then, our future plan, if that were to happen with Lily, in my mind, I'm like, I saw what fighting it would do to them. And I would not want to do that to her. And I would be like, even if I hate gotta watch my language on camera, you
good.
If I hate that bitch, she's not your mama. Like,
right.
I'm like, you gotta be happy because they're the most important thing.
They are.
That's all
Kids
we
are
want.
important, guys. One more deep question.
Oh, Jesus.
Or maybe two, right? What do you feel, and this is a really, I feel like this is the deepest question that I have for you, right? Because I want
good,
you
and then I
to
can
be
breathe again.
a little bit emotional about, like, I don't want you to be emotional. I want you to give me your emotions on this question because their days haven't always been perfect, I'm sure.
Yeah, please don't make me cry. We all know I do that way too easy.
It's okay. It's okay. You can cry. You can cry. What has helped you get through those tough days of being a stepmother and being a mom now, where things are just so overwhelming that you're just like, what the hell am I doing here?
My mom squad. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Moms that conquer. Like all my moms, all of you who've been through it with or without step kids. Like I really, and not for nothing, all the Instagram reels on the mom pages where they like make the jokes of all the days where you feel like, am I bipolar? Am I a psychopath? Like, am I wrong? Like my feelings, like I feel like in those moments, I know we were talking about like our supportive, significant others, but I actually feel like this is where like the women come into play with the feelings, like the support from each other. Because I definitely have days.
Yeah, we all do.
Dana, Carrie, Kara,
Yeah.
If I didn't have the three of them, like I'll be like, okay, I need you to come down the street, stat, like having mommy meltdown. I'm putting Lily to bed. We need to just go for a drive with the windows down, like I'm a freaking dog, and like so I need to breathe.
Even as a stepmother, before you had Lil, you need that mom group. You need that support. It's so important to have a supportive group. I would agree with that, right? It's so important to have that support system, whether they're moms or stepmoms, right? Because you can have support from a mother, but if they're not going through that stepmom role, it might be difficult to get the advice from them. So following positive pages on social media and surrounding yourself with positive things and people will keep you going. 2 questions. What is your favorite thing about being a stepmom?
That's a toughie. Favorite thing, I would have to say, is the fact that I'm not actually their mom. And even though this is a double-edged sword in like where I'm going with that, is like they share like things. Like there's conversations that like I get to have with them where it's like, oh, it's like, what's up? And like I get to be like cool with them with like stuff, or like even sometimes with like, feelings over the years. Like there's certain conversations that they'll have with me that they would not have with mom or dad because, there's just stuff you don't talk to your parents about. So like, even though they like, kind of see me in that light, like it's not the same.
So you learn all the secrets. She knows all the
goodies.
Which
freaking sucks sometimes. Like boys, like sometimes there's some stuff nobody needs to know.
Right.
Okay.
TMI. Like ain't nobody
TMI.
Here.
But it also like, it can be fun sometimes. And like, in terms of growing the relationship, it's been nice because they'll come to me sometimes, because of course, kids have questions in like split home situations, and like they've come to me and they, there's been stuff that they were, thinking about or like wanted to know, and like they're like, oh, like I'm kind of curious about something, but like never ask dad because he would be like, shut up, and so like like they'll come to me and like talk to me about stuff sometimes, and like to me I like that because then I get those when when Russ likes to be all like, I know my kids, I'm like,
did you know? Did you know? Hashtag did you know? No, you didn't.
But I know with the little rainbow.
That's cute. I like that. I like that, guys. So for you guys, step parents, What is your favorite thing about being a stepmom? And I'm not just gonna say stepmom actually, because we do have dads. So daddy,
figures,
step parents, whatever it is. What is your favorite thing?
So many things to choose from.
So many things to choose from. Okay.
The big
we're gonna close it out, right? We're gonna close it out with something for you guys. I wonder how you feel. I love asking you questions because your face is just like, what is she gonna ask?
I know.
Next?
I'm like,
she's not ready, right? Just so you guys know, I don't share questions with my guests. Nope. We're here by surprise. This is a flowing conversation. So
I was sweating.
What she don't know won't hurt her, right? What advice did you give regarding co-parenting that you would have wanted to hear so that you could share with our folks?
I think, and I have seen, even in like other regards of our, like family dynamics, obviously, because, you have like my family, then, his family and like whatever. The most important thing, and I can tell you because I've seen, obviously, you see how happy people are when things are great and people are getting along. And even sometimes you see some other families and you're like, this is like weird. They're a little way too like good for the situation. But like you see how happy the kids are and like how great it is. And I think the best way for a child to be cared for, in the loving and healthy manner is for, like communication and in the co-parenting department. Like you have to, you have to be able to communicate and you have to make sure that, everybody's on the same page. Right. And I guess not everybody's always going to be on the same page, but the worst thing we can do, in my opinion, is put stress on the children, with a lack of co-parenting to where they're uncomfortable all the time. Because, right. We all know, like, how do we get when we're uncomfortable or, feeling like, you have to look over your shoulder all the time, or like you're going to get in trouble if, you go to like this parent for something or then that parent for the other thing, or, like the other thing too is because we all know when we were children, when one says no, then they go checking for everybody else, and maybe sometimes like they're trying to cross a boundary that for their, well-being and greater intention later on in life. Like we need to show them what was right and wrong in that moment. But because you have people not co-parenting, if one parent's like, hey, and it turns into like we're spiting each other type of a situation, we're not doing what's best for the kid. And
communication,
communication and actual ability to co-parent. That would be my advice.
So like a plan.
Children
so guys,
feel
communication. And to your point, like build a plan so that way you have a stable parenting skill or whatever you want to call it. Because co-parenting is difficult, I'm sure. I don't even want. Long story short, what Angie's telling you is communicate, build a relationship with your partner, build a relationship with the mom or the dad, so that way things are easier for our children. So that way they can have a stable environment. They're not uncomfortable, right? Because the importance of having children is to make sure that they feel comfortable in every situation that they're in, so that they can rely on us for support. And
they're smarter than you realize. Right. You have no idea what they absorb and what they see and what they feel and things that they understand that would.
I just want to really, really, really thank you for your vulnerability, right? Because I know this took a lot for you to discuss, guys. This took a lot for my aunt to come on here and talk about this topic, but it's so important.
She's had to talk me off the ledge for weeks.
I did, but it's so important to talk about things like this, right? Because this is real life stuff. Not everybody is in a perfect situation. There's no such thing as perfection, and there's parents that are step parents, and it's rough. And listening to real life scenarios like this will help you move forward in your step parent role. And I don't mean to quote it, but in your step parent role.
Yeah, so, whatever you consider yourself.
So high five. Job well done, guys. Round of applause for our little Ange. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any tips that you would like to share in regards to your own step parenting, like your own advice, feel free to comment below. Like, comment, share, and always subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see our videos every Wednesday. Thank you. Bye-bye. Mwah.